forgot you're a singer.
Oh, you're a singer?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, wait, let's intro the podcast with a song.
Oh, no.
Wait, can we pick the song for you?
Oh, no.
Some T-Swift?
Oh, T-Swift, okay. All right.
Are you ready for it?
Are we recording yet? Is that wrong? Welcome to the Mikaela the VIP podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, I am excited. As you can see, we've got Mikaela here in studio. And you guys might be wondering who is Mikaela. And Sid's going to tell you, so hang on for a minute. But I'm excited. Welcome to the studio, first of all.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for having me.
She gets the cool mic.
Dude, she does. It's orange.
I mean, the coolest member of the team gets the coolest mic.
Oh, it's already started.
Shoot, I haven't even introduced her yet.
Is that Mike A601A or E601, ED601A?
ED601A.
Is it ED601A colored? All right, ladies and gentlemen, seriously, I'm excited you're here. And Mikaela's here in studio. We're going to have a good time. And I'm going to just go ahead and I'm going to tag you in. And you take over and talk about who she is.
Tagged. All right. Everyone, welcome to another incredible episode. I don't even know which camera I'm looking at because there's like 16 of them around me, so I'm just going to continue. Oh, I got the hand. Really excited to have you guys here with us today.
Yeah, dude.
Mikaela Dittbrenner is the demand gen manager for agency marketing, and she is going to spill on some incredible best practices.
Like the tea?
Like the tea, baby.
Yes.
Yes.
Spill the tea, baby.
So before we get into it, let me tell you a little bit about MK, or M Powers, as she's fondly known here on the team. Located in northern Colorado, she brings a diverse background in lead generation, campaign marketing, and conversion path optimization for both B2B and B2C programs. Prior to joining Vertafore, Mikaela brings us a wealth of experience from the real estate, home improvement, and political sectors. She actually joined us from Politico, mic drop. Her relentless drive to boost demand generation and amplify brand visibility through strategic initiatives has propelled Vertafore's agency marketing presence to new heights within the industry. And let me just tell you guys, she is not wrong about any of that. She actually wrote this bio, and it's amazing, and it's all very much on point. And let me tell you why. A week before Accelerate, which is, I think we had 1,500 people at Accelerate, roughly 1,500 people at Accelerate. We held a webinar on AI that Mikaela put together about 7 days before Accelerate in New Orleans. And it was not only the largest demand gen webinar that we've held, but there were actually, I think, almost 800 people.
Yeah.
Yes.
Almost 800, which is like half of Accelerate that registered for the webinar, which is insane. So listen, Mikaela's not messing around, and if there is anyone to take marketing advice from, it is her. So welcome.
Thank you, guys.
Yes.
What an incredible introduction.
And
Wow.
if it doesn't work out for you here at Vertafore, you could write people's bios for a living, because that was a killer bio.
I know.
Hey, I'll write bios all day long.
There you go.
I love it.
Awesome. My screen went black.
I got you.
All right,
So,
you got
all right,
me.
you've been in seat for less than a year.
Yep.
Which is
Yes.
crazy to think. I feel like you've been here.
Yeah.
It feels
since
like
adult.
forever. Like,
Yeah.
it seriously does.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it does. All right.
So less than a year, though. Tell me a little bit about why Vertafore,
Sure.
how you found us and why you chose us. I mean,
Sure.
we're honored to have you.
Thank
but give us
you.
the inside scoop.
Yes.
Thank you. I will say, so being a Colorado native, working for a Denver-based company has always been something that I've valued so much. I started my career at a Denver-based company with Remax. Shout out to Remax. And I've been here in Colorado my whole life. So I thought, you know what, why not bring myself back to my roots and find one of the best places to work in Denver, and that is Vertafore. I also noticed that the role provided me a lot of growth to become a people manager, which is something that I've never done before leading up to this position. And then obviously you have to add in the most important part, and that's insurance. Who doesn't love insurance? So
I mean,
That's awesome. Yeah.
that could be a tagline. Who doesn't love insurance?
Right? That's a good one.
new marketing campaign.
Already.
Hashtag Q3 campaign coming to you.
Yes. That may be the title of this episode. Who doesn't love insurance?
I mean, it's a
That
great
could do
title.
it. Yeah.
Done.
Love it. Okay, so for me personally, I've been in the industry for umpteen million years. I'm the old guy of the group here. And so I'm always interested to talk to people when they first come in the industry. And I know you're not necessarily like working with insurance products necessarily. However, you're in our space now. You've talked to a lot of agents. You've talked to a lot of people in our space. What's an interesting thing or something you've noticed being in our space for a little bit now?
Yeah, I would say like being behind the curtain for almost a year and seeing how agencies and Vertafore and customers interact is we care about the customer. The customer's first. And doing marketing for agencies specifically, that is number one. And that is something that has made me fall in love with not only Vertafore, but the insurance industry as a whole. You know, it's all about family. It's that family-oriented environment. And just that care level goes 10 layers deep. So
It
Yeah, I
is-
would. Go ahead,
No,
girl.
you go. No, you go.
No, you're always so polite to let me
you
go.
both are on a roll.
Right? So I was just going to say, to follow up on that a little bit, a lot of times insurance people, as an industry, we get lumped in, no offense to those out there, but like used car salesmen, sleazy salespeople, we get lumped in with that, like all we care about is money, or we're a greedy industry. Is that something, as you mentioned earlier, is that something that surprised you about our industry, or something that you would say is not true? And you're talking to insurance people, so
Yeah.
remember that.
Very much the case, not true. I would say I'm definitely surprised by that. Was it something that I thought of going into this industry? No, but now that you bring that up, I'll come back to it time and time again. The people at this company, the people in this industry are unlike I've ever seen before. And I'll die on this hill. I will retire at
Love it.
Vertafore.
That's awesome. That's a big word
That
right
it-
there.
yeah.
I
Well,
love that.
I think we all get so used to, we forget how special it is.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, I've had moments where I've been like, oh man, should I leave insurance? Like, should I get shit? Is there something bigger out there? Is there something better out? The grass is always greener.
Yeah.
Greener
Right.
where you water it.
Wow. Thank you,
Oh
guys.
my
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here. That was the VIP podcast. That's
Yes.
the money line.
Yes, it is.
Wow. I didn't expect that.
And let me just say,
Please continue.
that is what sets Vertafore and insurance and agency insurance marketing in my role apart. Is the grass is greener where you water it, and baby, we are watering it here at
Yes.
Vertafore. So
Oh my gosh. That is unreal. Okay. I don't even know where to go from there. You
Okay,
got the next?
here, I
Because I got a
got
couple
you. I got-
questions, but you go ahead.
No, if you got questions,
No.
you go.
I've got them written down. You got some like off dome. Go
No,
ahead.
no. I was gonna transition into leadership.
Yeah.
If you're okay with
yeah,
that.
totally.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Okay, so, coming in, leading the charge for demand gen, planning out the strategy, road mapping, figuring out where we ebb and flow, working with product marketing. Talk to me about what matters in terms of leadership to you. I mean, you've done a stupendous job so
Yeah,
far, but
thank you.
what's the
What
like?
a word, stupendous.
Stupendous.
I-
Wow.
Listen,
You
man,
were-
I am on it today.
Yes.
We are
Stupendous.
dropping
I had
so many
3 shots of
taglines today.
espresso.
Oh, stupendous. I like that. All right. My
okay.
bad. I had to.
No, I
Sorry, you have to-
I almost
to say
said
the question.
supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
Expialidocious.
Yeah, stupendous.
Disney theme. Wow, here we are.
We're here.
Okay, so yeah, talk to me about
Leadership.
the secret sauce.
Secret sauce.
Yeah.
I would say leading with empathy is the biggest thing when it comes to being a leader. Understanding who you are managing, what the needs are, how your employees work, how they work best, things like that. I would say, as far as my role specifically and becoming a people manager in demand gen, is knowing what is coming. So knowing the market, looking ahead, right? And then using those tools to then set up your team for the most success. So
So, okay, for the audience listening that may not have heard or used the words demand gen marketing.
yes, DG.
What- DG. Yeah, I didn't know that terminology very well when I first came here a year ago, which like this week's my 1 year anniversary. But anyway, not to date the podcast.
Woo!
But
Happy
what-
birthday.
Yeah, thank
Should
you.
we sing happy birthday at some point
No.
today?
Yes.
Not yet. Not yet.
That might happen at
Yes.
dinner.
Yes.
So,
That's definitely happening at dinner tonight.
all right. So, okay, where was I at? Oh, yeah.
DG.
DG. So maybe tell the audience a little bit, what is demand gen? What does that mean? What is demand generation?
Yep.
What does that mean? How could they employ some of that in their agencies
Sure.
or their carriers or their MGAs, whatever it might be?
So demand generation is lead strategy focused, right? So we want to bring in new business to the company. So how do we do that? We need to market to people who would become potential customers. What can we do to set ourselves apart from the market, even customer marketing, right? Because the customers get a certain incentive, but then what can we incentivize for prospects or brand new people to the business? So that's demand gen in a nutshell.
Okay, wait, but it's different than we also have a Marcom department,
Sure.
which is like marketing communications, which is also focused on marketing out to the industry and getting in front of prospects, how is Marcom different than demand gen?
That's a really good question. I would say the difference would be how you go into market, right? So specific messaging, specific channels. For our team specifically, we're all about email optimization, digital advertising, social media. So we are all encompassing at DG. We also focus a lot on cross-sell opportunities as well. So you'll find that in some of our campaigns throughout the year, going into 2025, yes, is our big focus prospects, bringing in leads, bringing in revenue from like net new, absolutely. But it's also about cross-selling to current customers. How can we upsell them to new products, to new initiatives throughout the company? So.
See, I think most marketing, when people think marketing, I think more of awareness. Or getting that commercial on the Super Bowl, or having that, moment where you're watching your show, whether it's Schitt's Creek or something else, and you see that commercial pop up for whatever that might be, versus
I love that. Yep.
demand gen is more of specific. I almost think of it like for a baseball analogy, we're teeing up or we're throwing the perfect pitch to our batter, like our salespeople.
Yes.
So we're setting up our salespeople in that way. Is that?
I would say you're spot on, and I would say brand awareness is another huge play for DG. And I think to answer Sid's question, that's what sets our team apart from Marcom, for example, is they might have a singular focus of brand awareness or bringing people into our website per se, whereas we are looking at it all around.
And I think we have really good departments for both. I mean, I think our demand gen team's awesome. I think our Marcom team does a great job with all the things that they do. Shout out to them. So
yeah, shout out.
I definitely think that's a big thing to make sure we mention there.
Yeah. So what would be, so you have social, email, advertising, the Super Bowl. Where does let's say you have a budget of 5 to 10K. Let's say 10K, just to be generous.
Okay.
So not like a ton of money, right? And I'm thinking small business, want to get into marketing, but I don't have a Vertafore budget, right? Where do they start?
Yeah.
Great question.
That's a really good question.
Yeah.
I would say...
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
Awesome.
Wow,
Okay.
indeed.
Okay. I know when he's lying to me.
I'm not lying. That was a great question.
No, I mean, I know when you're stroking my ego, man.
No, that was a killer question. Sorry. This is what
No.
you get when the three of us are live together.
I love it.
With Esther Express. Esther?
Behind the
Espresso?
curtain, DG team.
That's right.
This is what our meetings sound like, people.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Very
Okay.
much so.
Do you remember the question?
Yes, I
I've
do.
already
So
lost
small budget,
it. Yeah.
starting
Yeah.
off,
Great question.
Yeah.
let's say $10,000. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So for me, I think to myself, how can I stand out in my marketing amongst the competition, right? So my brain goes to reach desk, gifting. Okay. So setting yourselves from the competition would be sending a direct mail piece to your
Oh my God, she just dropped direct mail.
direct mail. So that's a gift.
But I want to. Okay.
Okay.
Let's dig into this because
I mean,
you're
you
not
turned
saying.
your seat and everything. All right, I'm ready.
We're ready to go.
Let's go.
Here's the thing. You didn't say mass blast.
Or digital.
No.
Yeah. No, but
you
but
went
like, but I think
direct
when,
mail.
Well, when people think of direct mail, they think, oh, I'm just going to send people a postcard.
Right.
Right.
Right. So, but this is different.
This is different.
This is different.
This is
so,
different.
so what? How is this different?
Okay, so this is
Yeah.
personalized. So when you think about marketing in general and you see a company that you may be interested in, maybe you've never heard of them before, all of a sudden out of the blue, you get a box of branded cookies to your house saying, we would love to work with you. We would love for you to learn more about Vertafore. Here's a box of cookies. Enjoy. Here's a QR code while we're at it. So you can sign up for a demo, a webinar on all things ChatGPT. We're foreshadowing to the future, by the way. But that's one example. So how can you take that $10,000 and send cookies? Maybe you follow up with an email, something like that. It doesn't have to be complicated, but it should be personalized. So.
And you don't have to have a tool as expensive as ReachDesk, because I know, you know what,
Sure.
actually there are some insurance agencies out there who probably could get a pretty good deal, because ReachDesk is a relatively new e-gifting tool. So just shout out to those guys. They're awesome, and you could probably negotiate some goodness there.
For sure.
But you don't have to have the tool. You don't have to have
You
the fancy
don't.
tool to do it. You could basically look for certain accounts. The idea is like to look for certain accounts ahead of time and figure out who you're targeting and why, and then gift them something unique with the follow-up. People don't,
follow-up,
right?
yep.
Yeah.
So Zoom Info is another big tool that you can use that doesn't cost a lot.
Yep.
You can pull new lists based on territories, based on where they're located in the United States and beyond, and that's how you can formulate your list of people you want to target. Figure out how you want to target them, what do you want to send them, what's the incentive there, and then what's the follow-up. So maybe they scan a QR code, it signs them up for a webinar, they register for a webinar with us, and then after that, maybe as a guest on the webinar, they spoke up or they answered a really important question or asked a really important question, and maybe we go, you know what, we want to send you to our next Accelerate for free. Something like that.
Yeah, going back to the leadership question, that we've talked about DG a little bit, we've talked about marketing. What would you say? I know the answer, but I want to see what you say. What would you say is your biggest asset as a leader within this organization, within our team? Because I think you've made a huge impact in a matter of 8 or 9 months, however long you've been here. And so I wanted to see what you think.
Stroke the ego.
Well, you're in our house, so we have to do that. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
That's why you get the orange microphone.
I love
Right.
it. I love it. I would say
86
being
of them.
organized. I think anyone that knows me knows that I'm very, very type A with how I go about things in my personal life as well. But especially in demand generation, I mentioned this earlier, you have to know your market. You have to look ahead. Planning campaigns does not happen in that quarter. It happens 2 or 3 quarters ahead of time. So on my team specifically, having things completed weeks ahead, projects planned out. I mean, sometimes you can't plan, right? There's unexpected things where you have to pivot. Of course, that's life. But I would say that's probably my biggest strength, or my greatest strength, is coming to the team organized.
Yeah, when you're talking leadership within a sales organization such as an insurance agency, you may not have the most organized people that you're managing. And me being part of your team, and you've had to manage someone as disorganized as me, what kind of advice could you give to an agency owner right now banging their head against the wall like, gosh, I got the most unorganized salesperson ever, or people? How do I get them to that place? Because you've gotten me to a place where I'm ahead on my tasks.
You are.
And I never would have thought that in my life.
You're doing amazing.
Hopefully Stacey doesn't listen to this because she'll be like, why aren't you ahead at home? But anyway.
I love it. I would say it starts with your calendar, right? It starts with your schedule. One thing that I love to do, and I've recommended this to Heath, our team, is looking at your calendar before your week starts, right? See what you have on your plate. What is top priority that you absolutely have to get done that week, and what can you bleed into the next week or the next couple of weeks, right? I think naturally when you are somebody who wants to excel, which at the end of the day, we all want to do well, right? We put so much pressure on ourselves. I have to get it all done in one day. I have to get it all done in 1 week. How can you, silo those projects out by week and look ahead and know, okay, I have 5 meetings on my calendar for Tuesday. Do I really need those 5 meetings, or can I push some meetings out to the next week? So it starts with your calendar.
So go ahead.
I was going to say the other interesting thing we've started doing is no meeting Wednesdays and no meeting Fridays.
100%.
Which we haven't actually started yet, but
By the time
we
this
made,
comes out, we have.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. And it's going great, guys.
It is going really good. It's great.
I can't wait for the future. Be here already. So, well, because the problem is
I feel like Marty McFly right now. Go ahead.
we sit on Zoom calls, I mean,
All day.
all day long, and then you can't get any work done. And, we were talking about this as a group and said, I think it's just time we take back ownership of our calendars and say no.
Yeah.
And thanks to Mikaela's leadership, we've decided Wednesday and Friday, and so now it's a thing.
I love it.
And
We'll let you know how it goes.
another thing that you're really good at as far as our team goes, and just our whole agency marketing team in general, is fostering an incredible culture. You've brought so much to our culture. We had a great culture already, but bringing in some of that. How important is culture in a business, an agency, at Vertafore, all the above?
It's the most important thing, in my opinion. I think about life as a whole. I think about the fact that we spend more time at our jobs with our coworkers than we do our own family and friends throughout the week. So culture's everything to me, right? Life is too short for it not to be. And again, I'll bring it full circle here. That is what separates Vertafore. That's what separates insurance from any other industry, any other company that I've ever worked for, is the culture. So.
So Mikaela's saying she's never going to leave the insurance industry. That's what I heard, Heath,
I
right?
heard the same thing.
Okay.
It's on recording.
I mean that.
It's on recording. But as far as the insurance industry goes, I feel like you set me up for this. We'll see. Maybe you didn't, but there is a history of kind of, I don't know if you call it a battle, but there's friction between account managers and salespeople. And it's a tough battle. I don't even know if I use the word battle. It sounds bad. But you know what I mean. If you're listening to this show and you're in an agency, you know what I'm talking about. The account manager, the service staff versus the sales team, and trying to get them to communicate best together. As you're setting up that culture, do you have any advice you could give people on that and how to work better as a team when you have such vast different personalities?
That's a great question. I would say emphasize each other's strengths, right? And help each other where there are weaknesses. We all come to the table with strengths and value, but we all have weaknesses as well. So instead of capitalizing on those weaknesses and making each other feel less than for them, how can I take my organizational skills, for example, and step in and help my team? How can Heath take on content marketing skills that he has and how he writes blogs and ebooks and help me? It all plays the same tune. It just depends on, whatever industry or whatever team you're on, but it all is the same. So
Yeah, I mean, I think we're all on a journey to becoming our, sometimes people say best selves, which I think there's an element of that for sure. I think I've pivoted more to we're on a journey to become our most whole selves.
Oh, nice.
And that could be like professionally, personally, both combined. But we learn from each other. I mean, I learn so much from you guys on a daily, weekly basis. So many moments where I'm like, oh, yep, could have done that better. Like Heath telling me I could be more fun on the podcast.
And now,
and now look at me
now we're the
go.
number one rated
I'm
podcast at
blossoming.
insurance, right?
I don't know what these...
I don't know. Was that wings? Were you swimming? What are we doing here? Okay.
we're finding Nemo over here.
Yeah,
Right?
well,
Is that how you swim in your Ironman?
Oh my God.
I use a...
Doggy paddle?
I use a... What are those?
Floaties?
Noodles?
A noodle.
Noodles.
I never thought we'd say the word
It's
noodle on a
orange,
podcast.
man, of course.
Is it ED 601A? See, I just recently memorized that, so I have to use
So
it
what
as
I'm
often as
hearing
possible.
is we need to give away ED 601A
Yes.
noodles at
Yes.
our next event.
I love
Yes,
it.
yes,
Sounds
110%.
Fantastic. Okay, did you have a question in there somewhere? I think you did.
Well,
Oh no, she said most whole self.
Yeah, I think we're just becoming
see,
our most
our
whole-
organization's coming. We're off the rails. You bring us right back in. Go ahead. You're crushing it. I'm so proud of you. Keep going.
This is Behind the Curtain with DG, everybody. If you haven't already
awesome.
caught on.
This is so amazing. No cutting any of this, Chad.
Okay, can we pivot back to marketing for a sec?
Yeah, please.
Sure. Okay.
This is your show.
Is it? I thought it was
Mikaela's
Mikaela's show.
Now it's the Sid.
Now we don't
podcast.
know who's the
We
guest.
don't know. Chad, you want to come in here too? All right.
Okay, all right. So, all right. So marketing.
Yeah,
Yes.
marketing.
Okay, so what is
Right.
what is your okay, I'm gonna throw a curveball at you.
Oh gosh.
Ooh.
Okay.
Okay, all
Oh
right.
goodness.
All right, so since we're doing ChatGPT and AI and all that good stuff, what's your personal take on agencies using ChatGPT for marketing? Right? I mean, good, bad, indifferent?
I think it's great.
Okay.
The reason I think it's great is for the efficiency aspect that it brings to the table. I think it helps agencies take the stress off of some of those more admin level tasks that they might have in their agency to help focus on the bigger picture. So I'm all for it. I recommend it beyond, promoting it to other folks, promoting it in my marketing. I use it myself. No shame.
Yeah,
So-
I mean, I do too. So that's, I mean, I heard this quote, something along, I'm going to mess it up, something along the lines of, you're not going to be beat by ChatGPT or AI, but by the person who uses it,
Yes.
essentially.
Yep, I love that.
Right? So, but, I think Roper, our parent company, has been a little, sensitive with how we're all using it. So we've got, there's certain areas we can't walk into,
Right.
and we have to get legal
Absolutely.
to involved if we're showing people ChatGPT or talking about AI. So there's definitely some maybe like a dark side to it, I guess you have to be careful of.
I think you have to be careful with that dark side, is just losing the personalization. I think like, I mean, I'm for ChatGPT, AI all the way, but I think if you're not using it in a personalized manner, it takes away that human touch, if you will. Granted, that's kind of what the whole point of it is, but you don't want to be robotic in your agency, right? You still want to have that family vibe. Yeah. So I think it's important to find that balance.
I think it goes back to, and I'm so old, I remember when the like AOL days, like internet first making it in the scene in the mid 90s, and people like it's gonna ruin our world, it's gonna disrupt everything, and we're all gonna be out of jobs.
People really said that about AOL?
Yeah.
No.
Or about internet in general. And then like we had this whole .com thing. And if you think about, I'm gonna go back even further. Chad's old, he'll know what I'm talking about. He's our anyway. Jetsons. That was back in the 60s. You know, people talk about, you know, how futuristic the Jetsons was. By the way, they only had one season. But anyway, the Jetsons, you know, people thought that was going to disrupt everything. We were going to have these robot maids, and we were going to have all these flying cars and crap like that. Hadn't happened. You know, people think all this stuff's going to be disruptive. People think ChatGPT, and they think that AI is going to be a disruptor. I think we'll adapt to it like we did the internet. I think we'll adapt to it like we did Teslas, or like we did electric vehicles. Sorry, I'm stupid. EV. There you go. I had a point there. I was just kind of rambling.
No. I think.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, I think you're totally right.
Okay, y'all were looking at me like I had three heads.
No,
so I was like, am I right? Okay, good.
I was seeing the universe in your eyes. I was making deep eye contact.
Mesmerized by the messaging.
Yeah, I was nodding and like, yes.
Thank you. Okay,
yeah,
I hope that.
Dude, go.
No,
good.
I completely agree.
Good.
And I don't want to sound negative when I talk about the dark side, but I think the dark side of AI. Let's be specific here. But
Darth Vader is not here. Thank you.
Right, Luke.
But you really like. But for insurance, you know, like you're helping people at the end of the day, right? And so, like I mentioned earlier, that human touch, keeping that footprint in the industry is so pivotal, in my opinion. So how do we find that balance? I guess is the ultimate question.
Okay, let me pivot to analytics.
Pivot.
We got a pivot. And then we'll get into what's to come with with DG and some teasers for everybody.
Right.
But metrics,
yes.
I feel like people always ask me, what do you care about? What do you track? What KPIs matter to you?
Yes.
What matters to you? Like, what do you look at? And I know you came in and wanted to track some, you know, some unique metrics that we weren't tracking before your time. I feel like that's BM is like
Before Mikaela?
Yeah, before Mikaela.
Thank you. I was like, bowel movement? Where are we going here? This is a PG show, sis.
Oh my God,
but
this
I got
is
you.
amazing.
Before Mikaela, you set me up for that one. I'm going to be fired now. HR, I didn't do that.
I took a hard left.
Wow.
I didn't even realize what I said until I made eye contact with you, and I was like, oh no.
Yeah. The boy on the podcast went bowel movement. Sorry. I did go.
Okay.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay, so go ahead. So metrics.
Where were you going with
metrics.
BM anyway?
Yeah.
Before Mikaela.
Before
we'll
Mikaela.
just stick with that.
Yeah, before Mikaela.
Before Mikaela. Metrics, okay? So to speak really high level, how are people engaging in what you're putting out there, right? That's the biggest focus. So then let's take it a layer deeper. Email open rate is huge in my opinion. If people aren't opening your emails, what are you doing, right? Like that is something that you have to look at every single day.
Which is such a it's such a traditional metric, but it still matters.
It still matters.
Yeah.
Okay, so how do you get that open rate? How do you bump that up, boost that?
Well, content manager who's been writing the best emails lately.
I know, but you're the guest. You're the guest, though.
I love it. I would say,
right.
Maybe this is the theme of the podcast. Personalization, right?
Yeah.
How can you speak to an agency about their struggles? What is their pain point and how are we solving it, right? And if you can speak to that, people are going to engage.
Yeah.
So, yes, email open rate is one of the most basic metrics, but I think that an open rate in general, beyond just email and other channels, is important. Clicking on buttons, downloading content, reading content. You can tell that people are engaging just by those metrics. So click-through rate.
Yeah, for those listening, again, behind the curtains a little bit, we had a meeting not too long ago with our sales team, and we brought up that metric, and they were like literally set back and were like, oh my gosh.
Yep.
I can't believe y'all have that kind of open rate and click-through rate and all of that. So to her point, it's a very important thing, especially for salespeople, because they're not opening and they're not seeing it.
Yeah.
They're not.
Well, we have, I'm just going to drop it because it's a pretty impressive stat. We have an almost 50% open rate.
Yeah.
Unreal.
It is actually unreal.
If I could drop this mic without breaking it, I would.
It's
Unreal.
It is.
Chad, I won't drop
For
it.
the amount of people that we email, an almost 50% open rate is insane. So,
Keep
And like a
opening those emails.
99% delivery rate. And I mean, our unsubscribe rate is like nearly 0%.
yeah.
Oh, wow.
So,
Yeah.
Don't
yes, are they
yeah.
basic DG metrics? Of course. However, like you have to start at the basics.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
that's
the
a great
message I'm
point.
hearing.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Okay, really quick, lead scoring. Maybe you could
Okay.
explain to people what lead scoring is, how
Yep.
that works.
Yep. So when you get a lead, depending on how they engage in content, they would then become a marketing qualified lead. So that's short for MQL, or MQL is short for that, excuse me. And then from there, depending on how they engage with our sales team, they would then go into a sales accepted lead based off of that. And then if that conversation goes well, then they would become a sales qualified lead. From there, that's where conversion happens. So
Okay, wait, so let's get into the whole,
Yes.
like, because this has been a thing on the DG team for the last week or two. I thought you were scrolling out of the picture there. Okay.
I'm here just to watch it.
So we have to generate how many MQs per what's the name, per month or per quarter? It's like 20.
yeah, I would say, were you saying 2,400?
Yeah, 2,400,
Around
2,500.
Yep.
Okay, so total we have to generate 2,500 per quarter. So you're looking at the volume. So you're checking like, okay, are we getting to the 2,400, 2,500 in terms of volume? But you're also looking at, to your point, the conversion.
Yes.
And with our sales team, we typically have what's called a BDR reach out to agencies first. They just qualify the lead, right? So they just get on the phone with the agent and say, hey, are you a decision maker? Do you have the budget? Like simple things. What are you interested in a product, right? And then so that's a conversion point. And then the second conversion point is once they're qualified, they talk to an account executive.
Correct, yep.
So we've had some lag on the down funnel conversion rate. How, like, we've been talking about this on and off for a couple weeks now. What does that mean to you?
Yeah.
Right, is the question. Like, how do you, is it like, oh no, this is terrible and we're losing and right? Or is it like, oh well, it doesn't matter because it's sales and it's not our problem, right?
Right,
Like
right.
what does it mean to you?
So I love that question. Sales and marketing always need to work together, right? That is like the biggest thing. And for me, it doesn't stop at marketing when I provide that lead to the sales team. I provide them an MQL. I want to know what that process is to the end, to the finish line. And sometimes in demand gen, we're so focused on how many leads can I provide a sales team, but we're not looking at, are those leads actually good leads? Are those leads the leads that they need to receive in order to take them to the finish line? So those reasonings are huge, and that is something that our team is really digging into for the remainder of the year, is how can we up that SQ number? How can we up that percentage of sales qualified leads to take them to the finish line? Because yes, I can be sending leads all day long, but are they actually good? So
And I think to bring that full circle to our products, I think those that have Agency Zoom, I'm bringing a product in, that's where Kayla should be proud of me right now. But that's where you could set up those funnels and those pipelines.
Yes.
And once you bring them in, then you've got to walk them through the funnels. Or, once you've closed it, then you can set up another pipeline, another
Yep.
funnel of follow-up campaigns and things like that.
Yes.
Or the brilliant Mikaela, we're all working our butts off over here. And then she drops the other day just passively like, oh, I'm also doing a drip campaign. And as a this or
Yeah.
that, I'm like, what? So we have all these campaigns, and she's got some drip campaigns. So again, there's so many avenues that you can go into.
Yes.
And so again, if you have Agency Zoom, if you don't have Agency Zoom, or if you don't have a CRM set up, I would say talk to somebody quickly about it, because that's what you're getting into, setting up those campaigns, correct?
correct. And going into that lead conversation, conversion conversation, nurture campaigns are pivotal at any company in any marketing department to have. And that is something that here at Vertafore on the agency marketing team, we are going to be taking that to the next level this year. That is that drip campaign. Because we want to hit them where they are. We want to meet them where they are, right? They want to pick up what we're putting down. That's going to up the SQL number,
So
the sales qualified lead number.
For those listening right now that have never heard nurture campaign, can you give a quick parentheses question? No, parentheses definition. That's the word I'm looking for. Definition of what I can't even talk.
No, you're good.
What's
a
the
nurture
word I'm
campaign.
looking for? Nurture. Golly. I was going to say nutritional. We were talking about carrots and celery earlier, and I started thinking nutrition. All right, go ahead.
By the way, this is amazing. This podcast is wonderful. I just love it.
Chad's going to have his hands full editing this one.
He's nodding his head.
Yes. So a nurture campaign is exactly what it sounds like. It's what I mentioned earlier of meeting people where they're at.
Yeah.
So you have a nurture campaign that starts at the top of the funnel all the way down to the bottom of the funnel, which is where that sale occurs. So top of funnel, brand awareness. We want to start there. What is Vertafore? How can Vertafore help you? Once they go through that process, maybe they stop there. Maybe they're like, you know what? I need to sit here for a couple months. I need to digest what I've been given, okay? Then the next step would be, here's our products, here's our services. Hashtag agency one is coming soon. That's where this would come into play, right? And then at the end is where they have the full scope, the full picture, and maybe it's, hey, we want to invite you to a webinar to close the gap. Sign up for this. Boom. They're like, wow, the last 3 months I've gotten so much information about Vertafore. I feel so confident in joining this company. Sign me up.
Yeah.
You can't assume that just because you send someone an email with an offer, they're ready to buy it, right? So that's where nurture comes in.
Okay, hold on. Before we like opened Pandora's box, and I can think of 27
love
million
it.
questions that I want to ask.
Eyes.
See, it's
see it.
real.
It's real. It's a
It's
real thing.
real.
It's
It's a
real.
real thing.
Okay, so I had this conversation with my dad, actually. Yeah, get the popcorn out. I had this conversation with my dad the other day because, well, this was a couple months ago. He invested in Agency Zoom.
Yep.
And hired a consulting company to come in, implement it, set it all up for him. And my brother's in the agency, so he's rolling it out to the staff and everything. And my dad realizes that there are automated emails that go out after a lead comes in. And he goes, oh, no, turn those off. And we're like, oh, okay, wait, hold on, Dad. You just invested in, couple grand in the tool, couple grand in the consultative fees, and they essentially built out the automations. I mean, yeah, they built out the pipelines and stages and whatnot, but the follow-up, the task follow-up in the email drip and text drip was really where they was the bread and butter. And he was like, no, I don't want to bother people. That's not the way I run my business. And we had to sit down, my brother and I, with him, and have this conversation about like people in 2024, like you kind of have to bother them.
Yes.
Right? You have to get in front of them, because if you're not in front of them, somebody else will be.
Yes.
So, talk to me about nurture campaign. And it's funny because he doesn't mind picking up the phone and calling them or sending a direct email. It's something about the automation that really bothers him, right? And it being like, in his mind, I think he just thinks that his prospects are going to wake up with a bazillion row insurance emails one day. And we're like, no, that's not. It's very personalized, very
But to your point, if you're not sending it out, they're seeing State Farm commercials, the Geico commercials. They're getting hit with marketing campaigns left and right. They're on streaming, they're on TV, they're in, everywhere you look, you're going to see people have $6 billion to spend on marketing. We don't have that as a small agency. We may have 10 grand, going back to your point.
Yeah, and his message is better than the others.
Yes.
So he should be in front of them.
100%.
So we live in a consumer world, right? And if you guys haven't already experienced this, I know I have. We
in a consumer world.
I love it.
I am a consumer. Okay,
I
sorry.
love it. No, you're good. You look at something, an hour later, you have an ad on your Facebook page or Instagram account of something related to what you were looking at. Can it be creepy? Sure. But to me, it's like, whoa, you're reading my mind. You care, right? And so for a nurture campaign, that comes into play as well. Like, we send them something, they engage in that. we have to build that trust from that point forward. How do you build that trust? You don't stop there, right? Granted, you don't want to oversaturate your audience. There's a fine balance. So I understand not wanting to quote unquote bother, but there's a difference between that and oversaturating. And I think if you find that balance of, you know what, I'm going to send you something, you love it, you want to hear what's next, maybe that comes out in 3 weeks, okay, from that point, or 2 weeks, or a month. But you have to guide them through their journey, and you have to expect what they want to see next. And that is honestly the secret sauce to marketing, is assuming and knowing, okay, they're going to engage in this, they're interested in this, what are they going to want to hear from next? And how can we do that multi-channel?
Yeah, and so you're looking at like for my dad, for example, with Agency Zoom, he could set up the automation where, if they open that email but they don't click on something, they get a different path versus if they don't open it at all, maybe he kind of backs off a little bit, right?
And we restart.
Yeah, and then with Vertafore, you're able to, because we have so many tools, you can look at, okay, they were on the website and they visited this many pages and racked up this many points, and so that's going to affect which path they take, and the types of pages they visited will affect which path they take, or if they engage with us somewhere else. So you're able to kind of like dial in that experience they're getting almost.
Absolutely, and just predicting what that next step is, right? Like the prediction is honestly the biggest part of marketing. Is okay, you enjoy this part of our website. You enjoy this information that you're receiving. I'm going to predict that you're going to want to see this next. And how can I provide that for you and give you the best journey that we can possibly give, right? And then I'm sure there's going to be follow-up questions to that journey too. How can I answer those? So,
and I think a lot of people listening right now may have that fear of, what if I swing big and I miss?
Yeah.
Is there anything you could say to that? I mean, people to overcome that fear.
I would say and I've said this before, trust. You have to build your client's trust. How can you provide that to them so when they swing that home run shot, they are so confident in their choice of Vertafore?
It's a good one. I like that.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. Well, what are we expecting in the rest of 2024? Maybe a little teaser?
A lot.
Let's
start there.
All right.
A lot. I'm very
Okay.
excited. AI is the topic of the year.
Yeah.
Heck, it's
100%.
the topic of the next decade, if you ask me. And so that's a huge focus for us going into Q2 and Q3. We have some ebooks coming out that are guides for agencies to feel more confident and comfortable as they dive into the space of ChatGPT, generative AI. We also have everything around Agency One coming for DG. So those are some top things that are in the works right now.
I love that you've brought the aspect of, more ebooks into marketing. And I feel like agencies could use that to talk about, claim scenarios. They might be able to talk about certain products or certain things within their agency. I don't know if things is the right word, but anyway. I mean, do you think, that's a thing that agencies could use, or ebooks still relevant? I mean, what have you seen numbers-wise? Have we performed well in that?
We have. I think they're extremely relevant. I think, again, we live in a consumer world. People just want to be given content that they can run away, read, digest, and go forth and conquer. And I think ebooks really provide that. I think the podcast is a huge thing. We're going to be seeing a lot of podcast episodes coming out around Agency One, which, again, is a huge focus here at Vertafore this year and beyond. So yeah, it's content.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Should we wrap?
We
I
definitely
hate
should.
to wrap
I
because
do
we
too.
could probably keep talking
We could
for
talk
another.
for 5 hours.
I was going to say 7, but okay,
Oh, there
you want
we
to
go.
cut me short at 5? That's fine.
Nope,
We're good
7
with
it
that.
is. The magic number.
There it is.
Yeah. All right. Well, MK, thank you for joining us today.
Thank
You're
you.
amazing.
You're
We're
amazing.
really excited about what's to come
Yeah.
for DG. And, we just appreciate all the passion that you bring, the drive that you bring, and how you've led the team so far in
Absolutely.
2024.
I'm so happy to be here. Thank you. Love it.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. That you just let us out there on that one. But I since I'm supposed to, I'll just tell you guys thank you. And Mikaela will tell you to hit the subscribe button. Go ahead.
Yes. Subscribe, and in Taylor Swift's fashion, are you ready for it?
Nice. Love that. Thank you guys, and we'll see you on the next one. Well, that was a great episode.
Amazing. It was an amazing episode.
I really enjoyed that content. Guys, if you enjoyed that content and you want more of it, make sure you hit the subscribe button.
Nah, dude. You got to tell them to crush it. Crush that subscribe button, guys.
All right. Whether you want to crush it, smash it, hit it.
Bop it?
Sure, we could bop it. Either way, guys, we don't want you to miss another episode. We enjoy spending time with you, the VIP.
Yeah. We'll see you next week.